It's live. Howdy, friends and floorheads. It is time yet again for Trail of Cthulhu, my favorite way to spend a Saturday. Brian, you want to get us caught up?
Sure. So last time, our intrepid explorers, still investigating the seamy underbelly of Mexico City, spent most of their time in and around just a couple buildings. They made multiple efforts to get into the apartment building where the mysterious Jonathan Brooks apparently lives, but between the difficult presence of the concierge and a variety of other distractions, they never were able to get upstairs to see what's going on. They did run into Mateo, the fellow who was trailing them previously and who promised he was going to leave town and has now been reconvinced that he's definitely going to leave town if he can convince his mother to let him leave this best job he's ever had. You also stopped by a little club called La Paz, which is a pleasant little cantina where apparently the band that used to work with Brooks and his singing girlfriend, wife, kept woman, whatever she is. They weren't there tonight. They'll be there in a couple days. But while you were there, a few of our characters took the opportunity to unwind a little bit. And it's been as we come in on the morning of Wednesday, July 10th in Mexico, it's a later morning for some of you than others. James and Alice are both probably a little worse for wear after the evening's entertainment. James, you had some kind of you didn't sleep great. I mean, you had those little, you don't really remember dreams of anything particular. There's just one thing you remember where like you and Alice were both drinking and then, somebody poured a drink into this mouth on the surface of the bar between you. Just little fragments of stuff like that. So, there's no mechanical effect on that, just a slightly unsettled. But you you wake up at some point in the morning with the usual pounding head. And the day is your oyster. What would you folks like to do?
I'll be going downstairs relatively quickly with
Mm-hmm.
the older, the better, black coffee and some dry toast to kind of
Okay.
soak up the previous evening's festivities.
Okay.
Alice also goes down, but as a nurse, she knows what works better,
Mm-hmm.
and that you don't need coffee because that will dehydrate you. So she's just drinking a lot of water and juice and having a good breakfast, but
Is she?
kind of
Is she...
shying a bit away from the sunnier parts of the breakfast dining room.
Fair enough. Are you giving James any of that advice, or are you just going to let him do his own thing?
James is an adult. I'm sure he looks like somebody who's drunk enough before the
The key is the dry toast, Alice.
Right, clearly.
Looking at these two just having a very good time at the moment, Adrian is just going to turn this out and say, well, in some cultures, they think that vampire myths just come from really, really bedraggled, hungover people not wanting to get into the sun during the day.
Sound nuts.
Alice will sit down next to Adrian and say like, we've got enough weird stuff going on. Let's not bring vampires into the mix. And she's just going to start shoveling in her huevos revueltos.
I thought it was a good suggestion, Doc. Just said.
I mean, it fits with the motif, mouths and all that.
Thinking of
James
mouth,
his head as soon as you say that, Dr.
mine is empty. I need food.
Yep. Well, they do have a pretty good breakfast here.
I will sample one of everything.
Okay.
Because that's how Sal rolls.
Exactly. Yes, more of this. No, don't like that. Very cool.
Yep.
So, as I say, it's Wednesday, probably mid-morning. What do you think is on the agenda today? I know you had a couple items on the to-do list, but I don't know if anybody's thought of anything new overnight.
No. I think Alice will say, shall I head over to the post office, open the office box, postal box? Then we scout out the park, and otherwise I think we need to figure out some way to get into that apartment.
I got that covered. Not a problem.
Okay, good.
I'll just grab the concierge, drag him off. Y'all have fun with the elevator ride and such. I'll join you in for a bit. I'm good.
Well, Alice is going to hesitate and then look at him. Are we going to be able to do this in a way that doesn't end us up in a Mexican prison?
Yeah, you're getting technical. You know, you start at keep it simple. Yeah, that's the way I roll.
James kind of rubs his eyes and says, Sal, let's just make sure we do everything together. I think that being coordinated is smart. Standing up and
Well,
wiping my mouth and kind of indicating if we're going to go, let's go.
well, potentially. If they are coming back soon, it seems that they were prone to throwing parties. So if we do get in touch with the old troupe of the old band troupe, then perhaps they have an inn. If it's loose on invites as well. If we aren't able to figure it out before they get back.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. There were stairs going up, to the upper level.
Yes,
correct?
yeah, there was stairs and the elevator, and you've also seen the outside of the building. There is also a fire escape around the back. Right. So it sounds like everybody finishes up breakfast. You head over to the Palacio Postal. Getting the post office box registered is, a matter of a few minutes and a few dollars. So we don't need to play through that. And at that point, you're about a block away from the Alameda Central, which is the big sort of central park of Mexico City. I think we said you guys were it's kind of spread out, and there are a bunch of fountains sort of scattered throughout it. They all have different sculptures on them. So I think you guys had picked one of them out as a place where you're going to try and have this meeting. So you want to head over there now and scope it out?
Yeah, and I'm going to post up, if it's all right. I'm going to post up on a bench near, like within eyesight of it, with the newspaper, trying to be as invisible as possible.
So does one of us sit where we said that we'd be, and the rest of us watches?
Yeah, and I would have nominated you, Alice, if you're up for that.
Sure.
Okay.
Alice nods.
So yeah, basically what you've got is there's a big, probably 20-30 foot diameter fountain in the middle of this little plaza. There's a sculpture of two women there. It's apparently some kind of mythological reference. And then beyond that, there's probably another 20-30 feet of just sort of open tiled space, and then kind of benches around the edges. So it's a weekday, so there's not a lot of activity in the park. You see some older folks going through, maybe some people from the surrounding offices taking their lunch break and that kind of thing, but it's relatively quiet or sparse. So James, you can certainly get a seat on one of those benches around the edges. Does everybody else want to set up on a bench as well, or you want to be standing on the paths or off in the woods? Or
there a cafe nearby?
There are certainly a couple cafes across the street, not especially close.
I was going to run and grab something to eat from there and just
Okay.
sort of blend in. Not that he's hungry or anything.
Well, yeah, just to make the cover. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
That makes
Second
perfect
breakfast.
sense. Yeah.
Adrian
But I
will just
mean,
be
if
walking the
it
path.
is good, I mean, bonus.
You gotta blend in.
Right.
It's all for
Exactly.
the effect. Adrian will be walking
So-
the path of it.
Okay, sounds good. And then I guess Alice, are you just kind of sitting by the fountain itself?
Yeah, I've got my hat on. I've got a newspaper next to me, but just kind of looking around, watching people,
Okay, sounds good.
shielding my eyes from the sun.
Yeah. So, any of you who wanted to are welcome to make a sense trouble roll.
Oh, fantastic.
It's only a target number of 4.
I'm just going to roll it, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Look at you spending some points, Doc.
Yeah. So, Sal is actually enjoying his breakfast a little more. You're kind of looking around, don't see anything. Alice is sort of blissfully unaware. But James is kind of, like I say, sitting on one of these benches, looking at his newspaper, spending half the time looking at the people nearby. And you kind of see off to your right, kind of, like roughly 90 degrees away from where you are, there is another guy who is sitting there reading a newspaper. And just something. First of all, he's a pretty big guy. Not brawny, but like tall. He's probably like 6'3" or so, and pretty muscular. He's got a shaved head. He doesn't really look like the newspaper reading type. He just gives you a little bit of a vibe of somebody who might be potentially trouble. And as Adrian is making the walk, you do see a similar guy. His build and everything doesn't really catch your eye, but there is kind of a moment where, like, as you walk past, going from one trail to another, he does like drop the paper just a little bit and kind of look at you for a second before putting it back up. So it looks a little bit suspicious to you.
I try to meet eyes with James.
Yeah, I think we signal each other, and then I'm gonna stand up, fold the newspaper under my arm, and face where Sal is, and wait till I can make eye contact with you.
Takes a few seconds. He's enjoying probably a churro or something, and he looks up and
So
kind of gives a smile.
I'm just gonna do this and point to Alice, and then I'm going to stroll over to my new friend.
Okay.
And enough room for two on the bench?
Oh yeah, these are big, like, stone benches. They're wide, like, they're like 30 feet long. There's plenty of space for everybody.
I'll sit down, set the paper between us, and
Okay.
just kind of wait to see if he acknowledges me.
I mean, yeah, as soon as you sit down, he kind of, folds his paper up and puts it beside him. And he says, so you are from Tremel?
From where? I'm sorry.
Tremel.
Just enjoying the park. This looked like a real comfortable bench. You don't mind me sitting here, do you?
You always sit so very close to someone you don't know?
Yeah, it's a habit of mine.
So he kind of looks you up and down, and you get a sense that he probably twigs that you're carrying a weapon, and you're close enough now that you can probably tell that he's also got one. He's got a pistol on him. He doesn't look concerned, especially. He says, "Have it your way."
And what I'd like to do is I'd like to be sitting there and my body is I've got my left arm. I'm imagining I'm to his right. I've got my left arm on the bench, so I'm kind of somewhat tilted towards him. But as soon as I realize there's not going to be an immediate thing going down, I'm just going to sit and watch Alice and watch him, keeping an eye on Doc, making sure Sal's watching Alice, but trying to exude a level of confidence that hopefully discourages our friend from doing something.
I mean, yeah, he looks very relaxed about the whole thing. You don't get any sense of impending violence from him. I mean, he's always the kind that could do it, but he doesn't look like he's inclined to.
Yeah, and I think in my mind, Brian, it's you've got a job to do, and I understand that. Let's just hope that nothing happens.
So, the clock kind of ticks up to noon. This was like a few minutes beforehand. And so he's kind of held his paper up. You can tell he's not really reading it at this point. But, when his watch says it's 12 o'clock, he kind of puts it down and says, "So, am I talking to her or am I talking to you?"
You can talk to her.
Okay. Puts the paper down, stands up, and comes over to Alice.
How far away is this bench from Alice?
Maybe 20 feet.
Okay. All right. I will stay on the bench.
You could certainly sprint over there in a hurry if you needed to.
Yep. I'd want to be close.
Adrian, are you trying to be anywhere in particular, or just kind of continuing your nearby wander?
Trying to just continue the wander a bit.
Okay.
I think if James is on more strict patrol, he can probably just try to keep blending in.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, Alice, this tall, muscular fellow comes over to you, and he's not wearing a hat, but he kind of does the gesture as if he was tipping a hat. And he says,
Okay.
"So you are from Mr. Trammell, yes?"
We are acquainted with Senor Trammell, yes. And you're with Mr. Oh, jeez, I forgot his name.
Brooks.
Mr. Brooks sent you?
I'm here to follow up your message.
That's good. We've been looking to get into contact with Mr. Brooks, but he's proving very difficult to reach.
He kind of nods. So, what is your message?
It's more a message to be given personally.
That's not going to happen. He's a very busy man.
Did the recording turn out well?
You'd have to ask someone else. I'm not a music fan.
Is that why the record company got burned down?
I think maybe there is a misunderstanding here. I am not here to answer your questions. If you have a message, I am here to pass it on. If you don't, I will wish you a good day.
Alice is going to think for a moment. And then she'll say, if he wants to get back into Trammell's good graces, he'll meet with us.
And what do you think will happen if he does not?
Then his problems are only going to get even bigger.
And he kind of, when you say his problems are getting even bigger, he kind of looks for a moment, and you can tell he's sort of mentally calculating the difference in size between him and you. Not that that's, the only matter, obviously, but he's kind of emphasizing his height advantage. And he says,
and Alice is just looking up very calmly. Just yeah, I've dealt with bullies like you before.
Bullies? I am offended.
She didn't say that.
Oh, okay. Apologies for that.
Nice.
Right. Remind me, Alice had just said that she was.
Yeah. Otherwise, he should meet with us personally, because otherwise his problems are only going to get even worse. Mm-hmm. And he was trying to, make himself big and intimidate me, and I'm just looking up, entirely placid, like, yeah, no, I've seen bigger and
right. You don't scare me.
Yeah, you don't scare me.
Right. So he kind of looks at you and says, well, I hear your message. I will pass it on, but I do not think your odds of meeting with Mr. Brooks are very good. I will tell him what you say, but I think he has other concerns that are more important to him at the moment.
Oh, well.
Is there a way I can get a message to you in the event that I am wrong?
We'll reach out to you. We know how to reach you, so.
Okay. Anything else I should tell him to encourage him to talk to you?
No, that'll be all.
Okay. So he, again, sort of tips his imaginary hat, heads off, kind of nods at James, looks over and nods at Sal, and makes his way out of the park.
I am going to follow him, not trying to hide the fact that I am, just to see what his reaction is.
Okay. So yeah, you like he is clearly, stopping and kind of glancing behind him periodically. So he sees you, and the first time he sees you, he kind of does, he kind of nods, and gets out to the street, and then he apparently has a car parked here, and as he gets into his car, he just kind of looks over at you and does a little finger waggle, and he gets into his car and drives off.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to come back to you, Alice, and find out what happened.
Okay. Alice will look to Sal and to James, and then look around for Adrian and kind of brief you on how the meeting went, and she'll ask James, like, were you able to follow him? Where did he go?
Just wanted him to know, but he just hopped in his car, which is fine. Do we think he's afraid of Trammell anymore, or do you think it's an act? What's the vibe that you got, Alice?
I don't necessarily get that he's. I think he's worried about Trammell, but I think, well, at least Brooks is. But I think Brooks is busy with other stuff, is my impression. Or I think Brooks isn't here and he's just watching the house. I think this is our Russian muscle. He knows a lot more than, well, he didn't really say anything, but I think if we want to get any information from him, it's not going to be, he'll probably need some persuasion, and then she's going to look at Sal. But he got the message that we left at the apartment, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's staying there. He's somehow in contact there.
I'm beginning to wonder if, despite the partnership falling apart, or at least the relationship falling apart, if Brooks is determined to continue whatever this thing that they were doing is.
I don't get the impression that Brooks is trying to get out.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
So I guess, and I'm going to kind of turn to Doc and Sal as well and go, what do we do? Is it Sal's a matter of you and I seeing if he's got fresh towels when he gets back, and paying a visit there, or?
Well, what I'm hearing is that Operation Kidnap Concierge is still on. So I'm good with that.
What are your thoughts, Doc? Oh, go ahead, Alice. I'm sorry.
I'm assuming that we've gone to some place that we can speak privately without being overheard, and we've got a view if somebody's watching us. We haven't felt that somebody else was watching us. It looks like
no. You're especially because Adrian appears to not have been noticed. There didn't seem to be anybody else paying any attention to that conversation.
Yeah, I think we need to somehow get him alone, and we need to get into that apartment. And again, you get the feeling that there might have something happened in the past, and we need to do that in a way where we do not end up in a Mexican prison.
Sal looks very disappointed.
So if we can,
if we do want to try for, it's a lovely operation name, but if we want to go for something else first, I am very well equipped to make myself look as unassuming as possible if I just want to be a cleaning lady or something like that.
The concierge has seen all 4 of us, but if you
You
could
would be
somehow...
surprised what happens when I change my hair up a bit. People aren't always noticing as much as they think they are.
But that just gets you in. And you alone with our Russian friend. Doesn't say. I think we need to all of us need to get in. But perhaps we head over there, we scope it out. Perhaps you can let us in through the back door or something, if there's a back door.
Maybe so.
Yeah, and I don't think, and keep me honest here,
Mhm.
we don't know beyond the concierge what's happening up there, right? So we don't have any sense whether that's being guarded. Have we seen any bodyguard traffic in and out so far? I don't think we have we?
No, what you've been told is that there are people here that drop off and pick up reports for books,
Right.
but no one has indicated that anybody goes upstairs.
Yeah.
Or
Unless
sees
that sweet
them
old
talk to
lady
them.
is playing to Sicker Chihuahua on us, I
Mhm.
think, I think we haven't seen anyone besides that sweet old lady.
Yeah. We watched it for nearly a day, I think. So
Mhm.
Perhaps we can use that to our advantage to get up,
Yeah.
at least to that level where she's at.
Doc, do you feel up for getting in and just doing some surveillance? Give us an idea, because I feel like we have a huge dark spot up there. You just have to promise that you're not going to be grabbing bottles of liquor and hitting people over the head. It's
You take the fun
strictly
out of everything, I swear.
we don't want you in trouble. What we want you to do is just to give us an idea of what's up there. Do you think
I
that
can do
that's
that.
possible?
I can do that.
Sal? Alice?
and we'll just head back to the cafe. It had some really nice sandwiches, and watch the place. I mean, he probably knows that's where we were the other way, but that way he knows how to get in contact with us. I said, don't call us, we'll call you.
I think I like this plan. I'm a little trepidatious about it, but I've also, my confidence in the doctor handling themselves has gone way up since before. So
All right.
There's
So
a cafe involved. Can't be all that bad.
right, exactly. Cafe is going to give you guys little punch cards, to keep coming back.
reward program.
Exactly. All right. So, Adrian, talk to me about how you're planning to do this.
All right, so a few ideas. All right, here we go. First idea is that he's making full character profiles. The first one is that, okay, if we want to go for I'm just a really light-skinned Latina, then it has to be that I'm mute because I cannot speak enough Spanish to pass. I would have to be mute. Or I could be international, where I'd be from Germany, which I could make work. It'll be a bit weird, somebody from Germany coming to Mexico, but I could make that work. And I think it would be easy enough to change the hair. No worries about that. Besides, I can cover it up. Should be easy enough to find basic, like change of clothes. From what it may be is that it's a fancier place, so they're probably gonna have a uniform for the custodians. So just kind of keep an eye on that, see what they're wearing, see if there's any way to go, out back, see if they have them in laundry or anything, something like that.
So one thing I will point out is that this isn't a hotel. This is basically a condominium.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's probably not an in-house cleaning service.
Okay. Sorry, I thought it was a hotel. All right. No in-house cleaning service. That's not an issue, actually. All right, so let me think. How many floors is it?
8. Sorry, 10.
Okay. 10. All right. Let me think.
Tall building.
Did the little old lady tell us her name? Perhaps you could be her nieta coming to see Abuela.
I believe she was referred to as Mrs. Gonzalez.
So, or
All
I
right.
think it's possible that you could?
Sorry, Ms. Gutierrez. There, I put her in the notes
Gutierrez.
actually.
Doctor,
Miss
do you think?
Gutierrez.
I know you had a conversation with her. Do you think that there's, because if you go to the concierge, not appearing to be someone that the concierge seen before, you go in and say you're going to be you're there to visit her. He's going to call up to get confirmation on sending you up. Is there something? I'm wondering if there's anything that you could say that would, when passed
In-house
along.
veterinarian.
And perhaps call her. I mean, let's try and see if we can find her in the maybe she has a phone.
That's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Is there a way, Brian, for us to get in touch with her, not via the concierge?
I mean, you could try to find a number. There are so many Gutierrez's in Mexico City that it's almost an impossible search that way.
Even with the address, though?
I mean, maybe.
But otherwise, perhaps it's just, well, she loves that little dog thing. So you come in, it's like, you heard this, you're from the government here to vaccinate dogs because there's this pandemic going around. That's, all the little dogs need to be protected.
We also do know exactly what time she's likely to go out for the walk with the dog, so I would be able to just catch her on her way out and talk to her.
And say, hey, you mind if I come by later on tonight? I want to bring something. Or I love that idea, which is we connect with her when she's taking the dog out to wee wee. You have a conversation with her and set up an appointment for later that day. Love it.
We can wait in the cafe until she comes out. Great plan. I love this plan.
As long as we're in the cafe.
The cafe is the pin in this plan. Without the cafe, everything goes to hell.
All right, I like that idea, which is let's catch our kind neighbor.
Okay. All right. So are you so it sounds like Adrian is not changing their appearance at this point?
No. If we're going to talk to the nice old lady, then it'll just be the same appearance as how we met her.
Okay. Yeah, so it's you guys set up camp in your favorite table over at the cafe, and you're not there too long before you see the door open, and Senora Gutierrez comes tottering out with her little pet, and looks like she's just kind of taking him probably around the block to the edge of the park. So what is the approach here, Doc?
Let's see. I kind of just walk up very casually, just, excuse me.
Oh, hola.
Hola, lo siento. I would have asked Alice to come along as well, because he can't speak as much Spanish.
Right.
Lo siento. Alice, do you mind translating for me? Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to thank you for helping us yesterday, and thank you for being so welcoming. We're very new to this area.
She looks a little confused, but she says, "Oh, well, of course, welcome. You seem nice."
Thank you. I'm very sorry if we did interrupt you yesterday, and I'm sorry for interrupting you today. I've always wanted to come to this area, and I've never been able to, so I'm not the best at understanding cultural things here. I don't know what's the common way to introduce yourself to people. So I wanted to thank you for being so patient with me for that.
And as you're going on, and she's getting a translation from Alice, she's sort of gradually doing this sort of head turn thing, like she doesn't quite get what you're saying, but she says, "Oh, it is no problem. I am happy to meet people that are new. Are you are coming to live in the building?"
Not quite. We were kind of surfing the area, seeing if maybe whenever we have the money, if we want to come down here, maybe for retirement one day, but long gone for maybe for my parents. But could we bring up maybe some drink, some like a bottle up to your room?
Um, I'm sorry. You want to bring me I don't really drink anymore.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Sorry. There's a lot going on.
No. It's fine. It's fine. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. I'm
think
wondering,
Alice-
Adrian. Go ahead, Alice.
Alice is going to look over at the dog and then look up and say, "Is your dog all right?"
Oh, Tito, yes, he is fine. He's a good boy, aren't you, Tito? And Tito goes,
Hmm. Let me
It's-
just kind
I'm
of start.
Is he supposed to have
Oh.
that little spot there on its ear?
and she kind of bends down very slowly, says, I think he has always had that.
Are you sure? It seems a bit rough.
And she kind of, again, she like straightened up to talk to you, and she bends slowly down again and picks up the dog and looks at, and kind of touches bottom there. I don't think so.
Was it like that yesterday?
I think so. What do you think it is?
Oh well.
Is
Oh,
everything all right?
I'm sure it's. I'm sure it's not. Well, Adrian, would you have? My friend is a veterinarian, actually.
Oh.
Not. Yes. So, what do you think that this looks like a melanoma? And she's gonna. Alice is going to do some kind of long Latin name.
And she kind of proffers the dog to Adrian.
I know you said it was a spot in the ear, yeah?
Yeah.
Like,
That's what Alice has made up, yes.
Oh, perrito. Cállate. Ooh,
Licks your hand a little bit.
Oh, hello. Oh, is that I think you're right, Alice. I don't know though. Because I'd have to see the environment as well. Anything that's anything they might have eaten off the floor, or it could be something dangerous, but you never know until you have all the information.
No,
I
it's probably fine.
Do I need to take him to the vet?
Oh well, I'm sure. How old is the little dog?
Oh, he's about 7.
Let me think. Let's see. If you would like, I may, if it's all right with you, I may do an in-house check, see if there's anything with his behavior while he's at home that may be different from how it should be. It should be all right, but I don't want to inconvenience you too much. But just to be safe, it's good to check.
Okay. So if one of you can spend me a point of reassurance.
Yeah, I've got one left.
Okay.
I have one as well. Which one? Who wants to go for it?
I'll use mine up.
Okay.
So she seems genuinely concerned. She's like, all right, well, I will he needs to go tinkle. So you come talk to me as we go. And she basically walks him over to the park, and she's just like, I mean, he's never had anything like this. He's never been sick. I got him with my husband just before my husband passed away. And she's like telling you her life story. All this is going on, and
And Alice is going along with it and saying yes, and then every now and then she says, well, she's turned around and said, like, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's not. And then Latin name or Latin name. But sometimes these things can be triggered by, a change in food or something, or that type of stuff. But it's better safe than sorry. But I'm sure it's all going to be right. Oh, and how is your husband? What happened?
Oh, he passed about 5 years ago, just after we got this place. It's we wanted to retire here, but he was working in a factory. He was running the factory by the end, which is why we have the money for this. But it was very hard on his heart, you know.
You must have been so proud of him.
He did. He was a good man. I didn't want to marry him originally. His mother and my mother, made a thing. But
it's going soap opera in here. All right.
Yes, exactly. The telenovela.
Yeah, and Alice is just going along, and
Adrian is enthralled.
And she seems to be so happy to have people to talk to. Well, my daughter, she never comes and calls. She never talks to me. So nice to have someone. And eventually, the dog finishes its business, and you kind of make your way back around to the entrance of the hotel. And she says, again, buenos dias, Oscar, to the concierge, and he says, buenos dias, Senora Gutierrez. And then he sees the two of you with her, and he gets this sort of, not quite offended face, and he says, can I help you? And she says, these people are this person. This is a doctor for Tito. He's going to see if he see this spot on his ear. And Oscar kind of looks at the ear and looks at you, and it is clear that he is not buying it. He says, are you sure, Senora? Did these people did they show you your did they have a license for this? This doesn't seem right. And she's like, Oscar, this is my Tito. These are very nice people. I'm going to let them see. And if there is any problem, I will call you down from upstairs and you can come throw them out. And Oscar is like stuck on the horns of the classic dilemma. Is like, I need to do what my residents are saying, but I do not trust these people at all. So he just kind of.
So, if necessary, at some point, I do have a medical license with me. It's for my first doctorate. I don't have my veterinary medical license with me, but if needed, I can provide it for you.
And Alice is going to turn to Mrs. Gutierrez and say, "What a wonderful building you're living in with people that are so considerate and of you and etc." And just with her kindest smile, and she's going to look at him and say, it's very good of you to be concerned about Mrs. Gutierrez. But there's really nothing going on.
I think I'm going to need that other reassurance point.
Okay, that's going to have to come
to
from
talk him into this. So I mean, he still looks very dubious about the whole thing, but he's not going to say no to Mrs. Gutierrez. So she says, he just you can tell he's watching you the whole way to the elevator.
I mean, good. He should. We're suspicious as hell.
You're suspicious as hell. It's true.
I don't blame him.
So basically, you see she, she gets into the elevator and gestures you in, and close the sort of metal folding door kind of thing. She takes a key out of her purse, puts it in the thing, and turns it, and then she pushes 3.
And she was on the floor below. Or
she's on the 3rd floor. I remember you were so happy about that last time.
That's right. But that's that same floor as Brooks, though?
No, Brooks is on the 10th. Brooks
floor.
is on top.
I mean, as long as we get past the concierge, once we're in.
You're in the building for sure. Yeah. So and it basically opens up, it goes up kind of slow and clanky. And it opens basically onto a little like 5-foot square landing that is about the size of the elevator. And there is, like a residential door with the number 3 on it. And then there is like another door to the side. And she basically goes over and opens her door. Her door is not even locked. But she, kind of opens it up and invites you in, puts Tito down. And this is kind of a classic, old person living alone apartment. There are shelves full of tchotchkes and knickknacks and little porcelain dolls. And, there's doilies on everything. And, there's a phonograph over in the corner. And she says, so tell me what it is that you need to see.
Okay, so first I just want to check the surroundings. I'm just going to take a look around, see if there's anything that may be left on the floor, maybe a bug got in, anything like that. I'm just going to do a general sweep first, and I'm just going to see how he interacts with, if you leave any food out, does he go for it? How does he lay down? Does he look like his ears irritated while he's laying down? Just a general behavior check, that's all.
And perhaps Senora Gutierrez, what brand of dog food do you use?
She says, "Oh, I usually just give him the scraps, the tripa from at the butcher. I don't know how if like dry dog food is even a thing yet the 1930s.
Yeah.
And
I would imagine she spoils Tito too. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a little bed, next to her chair, and you can tell it's like there's a sofa that no one has sat on in 10 years, and there's the one chair that she apparently spends like 10 hours of every day in, and right next to that is a little cozy bed with a little little stairs getting up to it, so Tito doesn't have to jump.
So while Adrian is doing this kind of like evaluation of the area, he is also generally just kind of looking like, okay, is there anything she needs help cleaning? No, that's good. He's kind of like, he feels really bad. He's just like, how can I help this lady? And is genuinely like on the lookout, like, okay, the dog's good, dog's good.
Yeah, dog genuinely seems to be, pretty happy. I mean, he's getting up there in years, but he's living a good life.
Yeah, so basically, after maybe at most half an hour, Adrian would say, it looks like it isn't irritating him, so it's likely something more like a skin tag. I will say, stay on the lookout for if there are any other patches, any other spots that start to make the fur look patchy, or if he starts scratching at them a lot, stay on the lookout for that. I think this one's entirely benign.
Yes, it looks just fine. I'm so sorry to have needlessly worried you, but
well, as long as he is okay, that is what is most important. Yeah. So is there, do I need to feed him anything different? Is there a medicine he needs to take, or
no? I think that's just fine. Perhaps leave off a little bit on a little bit more kidneys, little less heart from the butcher.
Okay. And she actually pulls out a little notepad and is taking notes in her scratchy old lady handwriting.
You will want to check his ears. You will want to, if possible, or you can go to the vet. You will want to just get a very soft rag and just clean them regularly. They can get very irritated easily, and that is what usually causes this kind of infection, which is why we got a bit concerned.
Okay, well, I thank you so much for seeing that everything is okay. I was very worried about him.
Okay.
He looks to be doing just fine. I'm so sorry for worrying you.
And she goes and she pulls out her purse and she pulls out her little wallet and she hands you like $5.
Oh, Senor, no. That is entirely not necessary. We just enjoyed your company, and we're glad that we've been able to reassure you that all is good with Perito.
No, but and she like presses it into your hands. She's like,
Thank you. Let us not be a bother anymore. We will see ourselves out. We will.
If I may, before we go, I wanted to ask, what do you listen to on your phonograph? I just kind of like wanders over and just genuinely interested, just sees what she's listening to.
I mean, she's got a lot of got a lot of opera, a lot of classical recordings, that kind of thing. Nothing particularly recent. No jazz, certainly.
No jazz.
But yeah, a lot of opera and classical music.
Oh, that's
she will say,
lovely.
"Oh, this was my husband's favorite. We went to see Aida at the Teatro de Belle Artes a few years ago."
And, wonderful. Well, like I said, I'm very interested in everything around here. We're going to I think a night show at some point. It's not this type of music. It's more a bit more modern. But I'll have to at some point catch an opera. That seems lovely.
The
Thank
young
you for
people
this
music is so
recommendation.
noisy, though. It's just that all the time. I don't know how
Oh, it's
people
all over
listen
the
to
place, isn't it?
it.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your time.
Of course. I will. Yeah, and she kind of gets up and heads over to the to the door to let you down.
Yeah. And I think we'll say as she lets us out, I'll just look both down the hallway and say, "We can take the stairs. Are the stairs over there?"
And
like,
she points to basically the other door because, like I said, it's
yeah.
just a little square
Okay.
thing. And says,
Don't worry.
"Are you sure?"
Yeah. Yeah,
Adios,
no, we'll
Tito.
take the
Bye,
stairs.
Tito.
We'll take the stairs. That's not a problem. So.
Okay, she says. Well, bless you both, and come by to visit anytime.
Oh, definitely,
Que,
definitely.
que tengas un buen día, señora. Gracias.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, and she shuts the door. Well, that was entirely too wholesome. Now, time to do some crimes.
We still took $5 from an old lady.
You did. But you gave her peace of mind and the best visit she's had in probably years. So.
Oh, sweet. Time to commit war crimes.
Yeah. And then Alice is going to look to Adrian and say, "Do we head up, or do we first check down whether we can open where the stairwell opens up? Get James and she'll just walk towards the fire exit." Or no, it's
it's an indoor stairway. Yeah.
The indoor stairway. Can we see whether there's the stairs on the outside?
You did see a fire escape like on the back of the building.
Okay, but we can't see the access to it from here.
No, you would probably when you looked around her apartment, you could see like through the bedroom window.
Okay, so it's through the bedroom window. Let's take the stairs up to the 8th floor. Because I think 10th floor.
10th. Yep, it's top floor. Yep. So you make your way up the stairs. This is obviously a very functional stairway. Obviously, almost everyone uses the elevator. But you get your way up, and when you get to the 10th floor, it stops. It doesn't look like there's any roof access or anything up here. And then when you open this, it's basically another one of those tiny little square foyers with a thing that says 10, directly opposite the elevator.
And there's
the screen.
So the entire floor is one apartment. There's only one door.
Yep.
Can we see if there's a spy hole in the door?
There is.
Alice is staying back out of view. And she'll look to Adrian and say, "Yeah, okay."
So it's the foyer and then just the single door or multiple doors?
Great. The single door. Well, there's the door to the stairway that you came up, and a door to what is presumably the apartment.
Adrian's actually going to, instead of looking through the spy hole, is going to go to like one of the side walls and just try to like listen.
You do not hear anything inside.
And Alice is going to whisper to Adrian, "We're not knocking on that door." Not without Sal and James.
You're right. It'd be impolite to not wait for them. Just white knuckling it.
How do we get them up here? Because did the entrance to this stairway, was that also in view of the concierge?
Yeah, it was off the foyer. I mean, he's kind of the ground floor is kind of T-shaped. Basically, you come in, his desk is here, the elevator's here, and the stairs are like off to the side. So if you could get past him, you could get to the stairs.
What we lack in access, we have built in rapport. We don't have time to. We don't have a lot of time, but at least she has invited us back up. She has said we are invited back up, so it would be easy enough to get us all in at this point.
Yeah, but just the two of them. I don't think Senora Gutierrez is going to invite James, let alone Sal up. So we've seen the door, and I think that we need to leave before the concierge gets worried, because he'll expect us to be gone. And if we stay up here a bit more longer, he might be checking on with Senora Gutierrez. So
Adrian is really looking at the door.
It's just right there.
But it would be so easy.
If that, I saw that Russian guy. He's not the type.
I've seen worse.
He's not the type we want to be messing with by ourselves.
You're right. Is there any details about the door at all? Any numbers on the door, anything like that?
It says 10.
Yep, it's fine. Just gonna bury the lead. Yep, just gonna walk back downstairs.
Let's go down.
Okay. All right, down you go.
And then
so close, and then just left it. Okay.
Oh, don't you?
I mean, Alice's drive is adventure. I don't know why she's not into this, but okay, you do what you got to do. All right, so you make your way back down to the.
I kick down that door if you continue this.
I'm not here to push you in any direction. I'm just here to respond to your
Assuredly
action.
not. Assuredly. All right, we go back downstairs.
Go back downstairs.
Mission accomplished, I suppose.
Well,
Oscar sort of gives you both the stink eye on the way out.
Bye, Oscar.
Oh,
yes.
The dog appears to be fine. We did suggest a slight change in diet, just to make sure there's no irritations on the skin. That can kind of happen with changes to environment and diet. We thought a bit of a change of balance might be good for the little boy, but he's doing well. In case you were worried.
Thank you.
Of course. Is putting on a fully genuine face of pretending like, oh, this guy doesn't think I'm suspicious. He just wants to know how the dog is.
And Alice is actually, she said hi, and she's kind of distracted and thinking about how are we going to get past him, and considering Sal's plan.
Okay.
This poor concierge just cares about his tenants.
He's just doing his job, man. Poor Oscar.
Poor Oscar.
All right. So you guys, James and Sal, was there anything you guys wanted to get up to while this was going on, or just kind of waiting to see what the news is?
No, the only thing that I think everybody missed while we were following Alice and Adrian is James just at one point going, like, you've got to be full at this point.
Sal looks offended at that. Says, I have a love relationship with food. I love all food. And, this is Mexico City, so try everything, my friend. Live
James
large.
Is truly in awe.
Man has amazing abilities.
You cannot guarantee that tomorrow will come. Enjoy the moment.
Very true.
So when you guys get back, I'm going to just kind of drill you a little bit. And I think it's clear that we're not going to be able to get to that stairwell unless we get the concierge out of that area, right?
Well, I mean, he can't be sleeping there as well.
No, I would imagine there's a different night person.
Yeah.
Or,
probably
check out the fire exit on the back in the dark.
I'm wondering if that's the way to go. I'd be up for that tonight. I'm feeling human again.
It makes a lot of noise.
Doesn't have to, Sal.
Or we watch when the concierge comes out, see whoever's taking care of who if there's somebody on the night shift, they haven't seen us.
It's
But
true.
what are we going to do then, right? So let's play it out.
Mm.
We have a concierge who's never seen us before. We assume that Oscar hasn't said anything to this person.
I think that Oscar probably would. say
I think so
something.
too.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Be on the
gringos.
lookout for these people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we need a distraction outside the building to get him outside.
That is definitely a possibility. I'm fine either way. I'm willing to fire escape it. I'm willing to create a distraction outside as well. But I do think it needs to be the four of us, and we need to get to the 10th floor.
What I can tell you just from a mechanical standpoint, as far as the fire escape, it's one of those things where the ladder is kind of up, so you can't normally. So somebody would need to make like an athletics check to get that.
Yep.
And then you are going right past people's bedrooms, so it would probably be stealth checks to get up there quietly. Causing a distraction. Obviously, there's any number of ways you could do that. You do remember that he does have a phone right behind his desk, so if it's something big enough, he might call the police or the fire department or whatever.
Don't have phone lines, and we should cut those.
Whatever we do, perhaps we need to do. Well, Alice is going to look towards Sal and James. Do you even know where we'd go to cut the phone lines? Is the neighborhood is the building kind of set off by itself in view of everybody, or
no? This is. I mean, it's sort of an an urban area. So there's buildings on all four sides of it. There's little alleys down either side and in the back. So you wouldn't be like right on the street, but if someone was looking out their back window from a building next door, they might see you.
I don't believe, at least at this period of time, that underground, wires and things like that were a thing. Most of the time, it's all up above. So tracing the electric wires, the phone wire is going to be in the same area, so we can actually trace the connection off and down onto the hotel or the condominium.
What about that little Kinder pack that was running around, those kids? Maybe we pay them to kick on the door, and like they're pranking, just being annoying, to maybe pull the guy out of the lobby, and then we try to slip in behind.
More potential witnesses.
Yeah. I'm frustrated.
Yeah. Perhaps let's see if he leaves. If there's a night concierge or not. And the night concierge won't have seen all of us. Did the concierge have a uniform on?
He had like a suit.
A suit, okay. Because perhaps we can surprise the night guy, and one of us stays down pretending to be the replacement, and the other three go up. Because I think it might be good to have somebody downstairs to warn us.
No offense, but unfortunately, this is a patriarchal society. So I know eyes don't speak Spanish. James, do you?
No, but Adrian, perhaps. Well, not speaking Spanish. There's not going to be a lot of traffic, but we need to have somebody down there just looking as if there's somebody still manning it.
So here's the other thing. How important is it that we have access to this building again? Because
I think this is going to be a one-off. If we get in there.
That being the case.
If we can't get in there anymore, I really don't know what we can still be doing here.
So
unless we're going to be staying and waiting for a week or until he perhaps
One
shows up.
problem with that, though, is while we may not need access to this building, we're probably not going to be leaving the city right away. We still have some loose ends to tie here, things to investigate before we move on to the Yucatan. We can't be on the run everywhere we go. I think the best plan might be to call in a visit to Miss Gutierrez, and if Sal and James think they can, use the fire exit and stay out of sight. And that may be our best shot.
I think we can't get her involved anymore.
Indeed, that's fair.
And it's just the and I really can't, unless we force ourselves past or just distract away past. We're not going to get Sal and James up, and otherwise it's the four of us trying to go up in the middle of the night up the fire escape, and perhaps that's just the safest route when everybody's asleep.
I think it's either that or either Sal or I nullify the night watchman, the concierge, as a one-time thing. Get us up there, we go quick. So I'm fine either way. But I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think it's either James and I, or Sal or I, go in, nullify him or her. I assume it's going to be a him, and we go up, do our business, and get out, or we try the fire escape.
Brian, what would be the odds that Alice, in her big bag of tricks and medical supplies, might have something similar to chloroform?
I think it's the kind of thing that Alice would conceivably have.
As in,
Yeah.
To knock some, as part of, treating somebody, being able to knock somebody out.
Right.
I may have something, but we're going to need, I think we need to do this after dark in the night. Time up, get in, get out.
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So you're waiting till the evening is what I'm hearing?
We're waiting till
Yeah,
the
I
evening,
think we're
wait
gonna-
for the shift change.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
see
are we
what-
playing? So we're playing to this night, or are we waiting till after we've already gone to La Paz to see the band?
No, but
Because
that's
we're probably
in
not
another
going to be
couple of
able to
days.
just stay in the city
No,
after
but-
we do this.
Well, I mean, they don't necessarily have to have seen whoever.
I think Oscar might suspect who.
But
it
we're
could
not
have
doing
been.
this to Oscar. We're waiting until a replacement comes in.
I feel like they still communicate. Is the issue? That's
And
the thing I'm worried about. Is that
Mexico City is a big place.
It's a big city, Doctor.
It's a big city, and perhaps Sal and James can do this in a manner that, whoever it is doesn't see who it is, or can't quite remember. They just, they take a little nap, and she'll put the little bottle on the table. They take a little nap, and we get in, we get out.
Sal,
Okay.
you and I put bandanas on. We go in, show our guns, say we're robbing the place, knock him out. We go up, have him tied up, pull $5 out of his wallet. So when he wakes up, it does look like a robbery. Doesn't recognize us.
Or distract, one of us goes in, pretends to be injured, get his attention, and then chloroform.
Can do that too.
Yeah.
So I am reluctant. I mean, if you guys are enjoying the planning phase, I'm good with it. I don't want to turn this into a shadow run.
Yeah, no, that's
45 minutes of planning phase.
Yeah,
So
all right,
as long as you guys are still having a good time, I'm good.
No,
But
No,
we're
that's
gonna
fine.
do the injured, the injured, and then I'm gonna come up behind the night watchman or the night concierge and hit him with chloroform. That's the plan.
all right. All right. Sounds reasonable.
And so let's just, what time is there a change of the watch? Is the door
Yeah,
open?
probably around 6:00.
Okay.
You see another guy dressed similarly to Oscar come in, and a few minutes later, Oscar comes out.
Does the door still look locked? Does it look like he locked the door, the front door?
Not at this time.
Okay.
So
Let's
we're gonna-
perhaps. Sorry.
Nope. Go ahead.
Let's wait until it's 10, 11, something like that.
Yeah, when there's no when there's minimal traffic and
Yeah. And then perhaps you and me, or you and Adrian. We're a couple. We got mugged.
love it. You and me. Let's go.
All right. You do see over the course of the afternoon and evening, you
Yeah.
do see a couple people come in and out. Ms. Gutierrez takes Tito for another walk. And then, so you're heading over around 10 from here?
Yeah, I think heading over around 10, and Alice is going to fashion some kind of wound or something. She'll give the chloroform to James, and then I think the idea is that I think Adrian, because you've got all the makeup stuff, you kid us out a bit that it looks like we got beat up.
Perfect.
Can do.
And then we're going in like, can you help my wife?
Okay. I would say with your collective skills, it's not too difficult for you to fake an injury of some kind. I guess this is probably going to have to take place in an alley or something, because doing it in the cafe would look weird. But you can find a quiet place to get that set up, and it certainly is enough to pass a quick inspection, which is probably all you need. All right. So yeah, you come bustling in. What's the spiel?
So in English, I'm like, sir, you need to help me, my wife, and obviously, Alice is faking, being injured,
crying like
right. Exactly. Yeah, he he comes around. He is clearly caught off guard by this whole thing, so he comes around and says, he doesn't have as good English as Oscar, but he's like, what happened? Is accident? Was how you say, mugger? What happened?
Oh, senor, it was horrible. And she's just going to try and get his attention to her. Oh,
as soon as I can get behind him,
Yeah.
I'm popping him with a handkerchief to the mouth.
All right, give me a quick scuffling roll. Target number is only going to be 3.
Right. So we're going to go scuffling, and we are going to spend 3.
You only need to spend 2 to get to a target number of 3.
Spend 2 then.
Okay.
We are not taking any risks.
Yep. All right. So you grab him cleanly, put the thing over. The chloroform rag takes a lot longer than it does in the movies. But and James is like, "Come on, dude!"
Yeah. And just and Alice is just gonna kind of also hauling him back out of view of and then she's she's already gonna signal to Sal and Adrian, like, come on in quickly.
All right. So yeah, you guys are able to cleanly get in. He eventually passes out.
Okay.
So he's gonna go into a closet. He's gonna get tied up.
Tie him up.
Want to find a "be back in 5 minutes" sign of some
sure. There is
sign.
an equivalent like that.
Yeah, because he has to be able to pee, right? So let's get him into a closet or a bathroom. Let's put a sign up so if somebody residents will not be freaked out that he's not there.
Right.
I assume the elevator requires a key, so we're going to use the stairs.
Yes. Yeah. And
he does have the keys on him.
Oh,
let's take the keys. Take the keys. Gag him. Blindfold him. Tie him up.
Okay.
Adrian goes stairs. Nope. Not trusting the lift. Going stairs.
Okay.
All right.
Did we want to cut the wires? I mean, while they were doing that, I can be cutting the phone wires.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know which wires you're cutting. I'm just gonna safely assume it's all of them and go up the stairs.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want the electricity to go out just yet, because that'll get. We don't want
just
that
yank the cord on the phone. Let's just make sure that the phone of the concierge doesn't work. He's tied up.
But we don't want any other phones in the building working either. If we
It's
can.
not going to be a sleepover, so we'll be out of here in an hour or 2.
Okay. All right, so you do that, and then between the elevator and the stairs, you guys make your way up. It takes a
Yep.
couple. I mean, the keys are labeled. There's like a
Mhm.
different key for each
Yeah.
floor, but you find the one for 10. You turn, and then you go up. You arrive probably a minute or so before Adrian because the lift is slow, but it's not that slow. And yeah, you see, just as described yesterday, there's this little foyer landing going into a single doorway.
Does it look like we have the keys to the apartment as well, or just the keys to?
It looks like this is an elevator key specifically.
Elevator key. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, so I assume the door's locked.
It is.
All right, who is going to pick it? Let me see what I've got going on here.
Or we knock on the. Well, we don't want to. Let's see if you can pick it quietly.
I've got locksmith of 3, so
Yeah, I've got a locksmith of 2.
All right. Well, if
I can
one of
spend-
you is willing to spend me a point,
Sal, if you want to do it, spend the point, and I'll have my gun ready.
all right. It's a pretty simple lock. No problem getting through it. It's open.
I'm assuming that Sal on our way stopped by the boot of the car.
I imagine he had stuff handy while he was
Yeah.
getting ready to come in.
the duffel bag. Yes.
For sure. Yeah, and you with it open, James has his gun ready. You guys swing open the door. Should we take a break now, or do we want to count the power outages?
No,
Break,
I
Craig?
think that's a great place for a break. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we open the door.
Yes, you open the door to what looks like a surprisingly ordinary living room. There's a couple of sofas. There's a big cabinet radio on one side, like a big gramophone record player on one side. When you come in, you see that there is like an envelope or a folded letter that has been kind of slid under the door. So it's laying on the floor as you get there. There is a door off to your left and a door ahead of you. You don't see any sign of anyone here at the moment. The lights are off. And it is pretty quiet in here when you first open up. So there's like a pause where is anyone reacting, and you don't hear any sign of anything.
So James immediately grabs the envelope off the floor, hands it over to the doctor, and I'm just going to clear rooms just to make sure
Okay.
the place is empty.
Yep.
And assuming it is.
Yeah, you do a quick scan. There's like, bedroom, kitchen, like a little patio area, and that's about it. And there's no one here.
My focus is going to be on records.
Okay.
The gramophone,
Mhm.
and I'll let the other 3 decide what they're going to focus on.
I think as soon as James gives the all clear, I'll close the door, and I'm just gonna look towards James, Sal, and say, point me in a direction, and I'll start looking to see whatever I can find.
Why don't you start in the bedroom? We're looking to figure out where they are, and just anything that gives us an indication of where they are, when they're coming back, and what they've been involved in.
Okay. For my reference, are you guys turning lights on? Are you just using flashlights?
I'm
okay turning lights on. What do you think?
I'll close the curtains and turn lights on.
Fair.
Okay, reasonable enough. All right, so this is the note that was folded up under the door. And then just kind of getting an overview of this place as you look around. The first impression you have is that this is not, it looks almost like no one has bothered to decorate this place. I mean, there is functional furniture. It's just, there's nothing as far as, art or, there's not a lot of personal touches in here.
It looks much too clean, too ordinary. This guy's definitely cultist.
Is there any of the orange crust in here?
Not at that you see. Let me give you a quick overview of what you see. Let's see. James, I know you said you were looking at the records.
Yep.
So you will definitely find, among the others, there's like a variety of recent jazz and folk music and that kind of thing. You do also find a record that is from Los Discos, which is the place you were looking at, which is just labeled side A and side B.
That's coming. That's coming with us.
Okay, sounds good. So looking over the place, The master bedroom, or the bedroom, I should say, looks like two people have lived here. There's clothes for a man and a woman. Doesn't look like it's been used recently. Again, there's no paintings or decorations or photos or anything in here. It looks very functional. The kitchen has like a handful of utensils and plates. It's like this place never really been stocked up. There's, a stove and an icebox and a blender. Doesn't look like it's been used at all recently. There's, some bread in the bread box, which is getting moldy. So that isn't anything especially recent. There is a little bathroom, which is pretty ordinary. Now, are you guys like tossing the place, or are you just sort of seeing what you see? Okay.
Alice is tossing the bedroom.
Okay.
She's, but in a quiet, she's not making noise, but she's throwing it on the bed. She's pulling the sheets off.
Looking all over. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and taking out the drawers, turning them over.
Agent will be staying by the door.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is there a desk in here or anything like that?
There is not. It doesn't even look like there's really anything that's an office. I mean, there's like a table in the living room where somebody could write stuff at, but it doesn't look like it's a desk. There's not like drawers or anything in there.
Any large, again, collection of envelopes or papers or even newspapers?
Not really. It's very, very minimalist here. So let's see, Alice, when you're searching in the bathroom, which is right off the bedroom, in the bedroom itself, you don't find anything interesting. It looks like this is, kind of like a part-time residence for these folks, and they clearly don't spend a lot of time or have a lot of stuff here. But in the bathroom, the one thing you find that's interesting is there is a little bottle of what you would recognize as a pretty powerful kind of prescription sleep aid. A little liquid, probably some kind of barbiturate. Yeah, exactly. So you can grab that. But scanning through the one place that you find anything that seems out of sorts or odd is looking out at the patio. It's not kind of what you expect. Looking at it, there's like a lot of like wooden planks that have been kind of laid down over the patio flooring, the tile or concrete or whatever it is that's out there. And there are all along like two walls of the thing are what look like bird coops, little frames with little hinge doors and that kind of thing. And there is frankly bird shit all over the place.
Is the patio visible from the street, or is it kind of an indoor patio? Or
I mean, it's got it would be visible, but you're at such a low angle, you wouldn't really be able to see anything from up there.
Okay.
And there's what appears to be bird coops of some sort on the outside, and there's
against the inner wall and like on one of the outer walls.
Okay.
Right.
1700s called. They want their carrier pigeons back.
Yeah, that's
odd. That's very odd.
So
have we looked through the entire interior? Otherwise,
pretty much. I mean, it doesn't look like there's a lot to contend with here. You're taking your time and looking through everything, but it's nothing really of interest at this point.
So we've got the sleep aid, we've got the record. Let's open up bird doors.
Out onto the patio. I think Alice is going to just, kind of nudge one of the boards with her foot.
It seems sturdy enough. It's not like covering a trap or anything. It's just like laid onto the flooring. Honestly, you feel like the planks were probably put here just to keep from messing up the floor underneath. But yeah, the coops, I mean, the doors are all open. It's just these simple, chicken wire frames. They're all open. There's no birds here now. They're probably, I don't know, birds like this, maybe like a crow kind of size. There's room for probably a few dozen of them. There's feathers and things on the bottom of the cages and that kind of thing.
Do they look like crow's feathers or pigeon feathers or
feathers? You've got some biology in you, don't you, Alice?
Yes, I do.
All right, cool. So you are pretty sure that there's probably 2 different species here, and they both kind of look crow-like. You know, they have that kind of black iridescent feather, but you know, one is definitely bigger than the other. You know, probably some kind of crow and maybe some kind of blackbird would be your guess.
Not
as-
chicken then.
No, definitely not chickens. You know, looking around this stuff, you know, James, you're kind of scoping it out and trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. And you see, you know, obviously in the bottom of all these coops, there's all kinds of, you know, bird guano and seed shells and everything else. And then at one point, something in your old, you know, police detective time catches your eye, and you realize that that thing that's laying in the side of one of these cages is a finger bone. And you kind of look through and you see like a number of like fingernails at the bottom of some of these cages and a couple other what look like finger bones to you.
How many fingers are we talking about roughly?
Probably 8 to 10. And the fingernails, like there's definitely like some of the fingernails look like they're a woman's. They're kind of longer and polished, and there are some that look like men's. So there's definitely a couple people.
Any blood?
Probably a little bit. It's hard to make it out amongst all the other crap that's in here, but there's probably some little spatters of blood.
Alice, are there birds that eat meat would eat
Well,
fingers?
yeah, you have raptors, so yeah,
Carry-on birds.
carrion birds, yeah.
Corvids.
Yep.
God,
Waste disposal.
My Uncle Vinny had pet crows. Mean creatures.
And Sal, as you're kind of looking at this situation, you see like from one angle, you kind of take your flashlight over, and it looks like there's some stuff carved into these coops. And you can kind of see as you look around, somebody's been carving what you would recognize, not specifically, but kind of as occult type symbols, like carved onto the wood of the cages on the inside, as though somebody was trying to do something with these birds.
We'll definitely point that out.
And this is open to the air, so birds could fly from the outside.
I mean, there are
patio.
doors. They're all open now, but you
Right.
know, if they were closed, then yeah, this would be a place where birds could come and go.
Okay, this is not what I anticipated, which is awesome.
Even more disturbing stuff, but no. Where did they go? Where are they?
No answers to all questions.
Oh, okay. We've searched the place.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some going on with the birds.
So,
go ahead.
Can you tell if those symbols are of any specific culture? Like, if it's a type of occult symbol that would be from a specific culture, not what it is, but like what area it may be from.
They strike you, Sal, and again, this is not expertise. You just kind of seen some of it in passing, as like a lot of the classic old Western tradition. You know, the sort of thing that like there's some things that look like the Enochian language that John Dee used in England. You know, and that kind of thing. So it looks European in origin, is probably as close as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I would say European, definitely not Mesoamerican.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps sketch them and see for some research later.
Be careful with that.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll hold the flashlight for the dock.
Does it look like something that could be toppled over easily without making too much sound?
I mean, you could certainly. It looks like they're affixed to the wall.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then.
I mean, you could certainly do it, but it would not be quiet.
No. Then.
I guess the last thing is there any way for us to get a sense of the last time this was used. So how old or how fresh do things look? Whether it be fingers or guano or whatever.
Well, the
sorry,
note looks like it does that, and she'll point towards the note. It looks like that whoever slipped something underneath this was before they slipped any notes about us coming
I
here.
think it was Dominguez.
Dominguez.
I think this is I think that's just the passing along of the watchmen, the people on the outside. Go ahead, Doc.
I'm just curious. Looking at the floor, does it look like there's any scrapings that would have come from furniture being moved? Because this place was used for parties, right? Or at least that's what we heard.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing if there's any signs that any part of this has ever been disturbed, essentially. Does it look like there's ever been movement here?
I mean, yeah, there's probably some older, stuff like, anytime you get a hardwood floor, you're going to get some scratches. That doesn't look like there's anything really consistent. But, as you say that and you're kind of looking the place around, I kind of visualize Adrian kind of, he's looking at the coop and he kind of goes through the kitchen and looks in the hallway and, kind of doing one of these. The kitchen isn't big enough. Like, here's the outer wall, and then the kitchen goes to here. So there's a space there that isn't accounted for in the rooms that you've gotten to.
Check for doors.
Behind the kitchen?
Yep. Yeah, it's like between it's like, you have the hallway, kitchen, patio, and then space here.
I'm gonna check the appliances first, like ovens, see if any of them aren't actually functioning pieces of machinery and are in fact just
No, they look normal and functional.
Mm-hmm. I would have pointed that out, by the way.
Yeah, it's cabinets that share that wall.
Nothing in there. They all see. I mean, if you like rap on the back of the cabinet, you can hear that there's space back there,
right?
But none of them seem to open or.
And this wall would be not counting the space that we've identified. This would then go to the outside, right?
Right. So it's like one of the walls with the bird coops is next to where this would be.
All right, we got to look everywhere to see if there's any type of access, right? Any way that someone is accessing this space. Before I start breaking shit.
All right. So you guys come searching around, and I think Alice is the one that actually finds it. As she's looking out on the patio, there is underneath the bottom row of coops, there's like a little latch that you could pull if you wanted.
I'm like, I think I found something, and I'm just going to pull it right away.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and the whole section of wall with these coops on it just kind of swings out.
I'm like, she's going to fall back a bit, like, found something.
Guns out.
Yep.
Okay.
Going in to make sure the front door is locked.
It is now.
Is it able to double lock and?
Yeah, there's a deadbolt. There's a deadbolt.
I'm throwing the deadbolt too.
Okay, sounds good. So for the rest of you, this is a room with like there's a brick wall on the one side, like on your left. The rest of them are just plaster walls. And you can see at the far end of the room that's like there was a doorway that presumably led out into the hall, but that's been bricked up basically. And this is kind of a long, narrow room. And, at the far end, you can see what looks like an expensive writing desk and a chair. And then, there's a bookshelf over it with a bunch of books and things on it. And then one whole side of the thing is taken up by, the first word that comes to mind is an altar. There's like a sideboard that you'd put dishes and stuff on with a big marble slab over it, and like there's a copy of a phonograph record like the one you found in the living room, kind of propped up on the lab. There is a little like a shot glass half full of some kind of iridescent orange liquid. There are some half burned candles, and then over that wall or on the wall over that altar is a sketch, looks like charcoal to Adrian, although it's got a slight bit of iridescence to it. And it's basically a picture of a mountain with a mouth in the side of it, like this big fanged monstrous mouth. And written above it is this phrase in Spanish, La garganta de la boca se encuentra dentro de la montaña devadora, which those of you who speak Spanish will know means something like the throat of the mouth is found within the devouring mountain. There are also a bunch of like glyphs and symbols around it. These look more Mesoamerican, like Aztec, Mayan, something. None of you really know that area, but that kind of style. And yeah, that is what you see.
And the desk? Is anything in or on the desk?
Yes, there is definitely some stuff on the desk. Let me see. There is a Sorry, there are letters at the desk. Let me do this.
I would suggest we take this stuff as much as we can. I will spend a point of preparedness for, like, duffel bags and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then take all this stuff and get out of here.
Ransack the place.
Yep. All right. So you've got a couple letters, including one that looks like it's in the process of being written and unfinished. There is, let's see.
Guides in Merida. Although it's posing some difficulties, we still have not been able to figure out exactly how long we'll need to spend in the jungle. Good news at last, however, Francisco de la Vega is more trouble than he's worth. We finally agreed to give us permission to cross his lands. Believe me that I, too, have fantasized about shooting him in the head, but it doesn't look like that will be necessary now. If all goes well, this will be my last letter before we depart. I will send a runner back to Merida as soon as the site has been found to telegraph you with the news. You will not hear from me again until then. Signed, Dominguez. This is from SS. I respect the rage you feel for the secrets that Echevarria kept. I suspect all that we seek will be trivial child's play if Ramon had not deliberately concealed the truth from us, nor do I fault you for not putting great faith in Samson, not anymore. And so I understand that you may have cause to distrust, but I can tell you with no uncertain terms that Golgoroth was but another of Ramon's lies. The mouths are not of the fisher's making. This expedition you are planning is all conceived at best and more likely utter folly. You would have more success sending Dominguez here to Coquet Island or coming yourself and studying the reports I have gathered from the explanations all across the globe over these past 10 years. Signed SS. Who would SS be? Do we know?
You found
Bangkok.
was the person writing from Bangkok.
Okay.
To Trammell.
All right. So then we've got a letter to Samson from Los Discos, June 16th, 35. What's today's date?
Today is July 10th, I want to say. Hold on.
All right. So this is a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've been waiting. I know you're unhappy with our performance. I'm unhappy with our performance. Let me see who this is signed by. Hold on. Oh, we don't know.
This one is unfinished, so presumably it was written by Brooks or someone here.
Is Trammell, is that was Trammell's first name Samson or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this might be written by Brooks then. Lies began with Echevarria, who kept us out, who kept us from hidden truth. I trusted you, we trusted you, but you have forgotten the voice of your God, our God, my God. You seek to cloak the glory of Golgoroth and the lie of the black man. You named Nyarlathotep and pretend that you have revealed a great truth. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. But now I have found my own path Yes, Samson, I have learned the secret name of the maw, and I've learned the path to, and then of course it's blacked out in ink. All right, so we grab all of this.
Yep.
Yep.
There is also, like I said, on the altar, there is like a flyer that looks like it's maybe about an album or an upcoming album or something. And then, excuse me, as far as the books go on the far side, looking through those, several of them are like journals, that are blank. They're like books to write a journal in. Couple books about Mexican folk music, and most of the rest of them seem to be about Mesoamerican art and culture. A lot of Aztec, Olmec, Maya stuff.
Grab everything
Okay.
and sketch whatever there's there.
Mm-hmm.
Turn over the,
Was that a painting on the wall? Or
It was like drawn on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd say let's move the desk, turn it over, make sure that there's absolutely nothing hidden in drawers on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you are
The
pretty sure
liquid
that
in
you
the,
found everything.
in the shot cup.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything to put that liquid in? We can take a milk bottle,
Sure.
wash it out, and then seal it up again. We can put it in.
Yeah, I think you could do that. The milk is pretty nasty, but you rinse it out and put that in. Sure, that'll work.
I was not afraid of it.
Okay.
All right, and then once we have cleaned this place out, I say we get the hell out of here.
So we use the fire
Adrian?
key.
Just curious. I imagine we've been leaving the car, but we still have the stone slab with us, right? Where have we been leaving it?
Did you guys? I thought you sent that off with the
We did.
with the book.
We
Did we? Okay.
Yep.
Right. So I think that's in Chicago with Sal's girlfriend.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do? All right. Pack it all up. The place is in disarray, but that's what that is. Do you close the secret door behind you?
No, let's leave it open.
Okay. That's true. Once anyone goes in there, they'll certainly see that the place has been ransacked. All right. And you make your way back downstairs.
I'm going to leave a note saying Trammell is very disappointed. Just leave it on the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say we don't go down the stairs. We go down the fire escape. People will hear it.
But,
That's okay. We're gonna leave.
If we go down the fire escape, we're potentially waking people up because we'll be going past bedroom doors. I'd say we go down the interior stairway and just get out, get in the car, and move.
Exactly. I agree 100%. Not even going to check our guy.
Okay. I mean, you can, as you go past, you can kind of hear him like groaning a little bit, like maybe he's starting to come around to consciousness, but he's still, he's in no position to identify or see you.
I think that we take down the go in 5 minutes note and just perhaps put the door. I mean, Alice is going to put the door in a kind of leave it slightly ajar so that he'll be found perhaps a little bit quicker.
Okay.
But, and then just
walk
out the door straight to the car and get out of here.
It's, there's a little bit of an adrenaline boost as you're going through, but no one appears to have noticed anything out of the ordinary here. And you're off.
Back to the hotel.
All righty. Yep. No sign of anyone following you or anything like that. You make your way back with no incidents.
And I'm reading it while we're driving. Sal's driving. I'm going through the papers, and it almost seems like they split. Like we've got two different cults happening here, right? There's two different gods of some sort. I've never heard these names before.
Yeah. In the Testament, it says that SS has basically been venerated as the leader, and he was challenging people in Los Angeles in the cult to come and fight in the sacred rites. And Golgoroth was one of the names in Nyarlathotep. But Golgoroth was connected to the fissure in the stars, I believe. Let me see.
And that's what we think Trammell was.
Harbinger of the Liar.
Okay.
That was it.
And is that who we think Trammell was devoted to?
So
but now I'm trying to piece this together.
Yeah, so what it looks like, let me pull these letters up real quick.
Just real quick, I think we need to change hotels. Just get that out there.
I'm good with that.
What's
So
that?
it sounds like, from at least based on what's on this letter, that Brooks, or whoever wrote the letter, seems to think that Golgoroth is the entity behind the mouths, whereas apparently Trammell was telling them, and maybe believed himself, that it was something called Nyarlathotep instead.
Got it.
So it looks like there's, not only are they not sure what the thing is, there's different opinions on who is really behind all this.
And it looks like that they were trying to do an expedition
To Merida.
Right? Do we have any indication, Brian, what SS believes?
SS seems to believe from the letter that, he SS believes that both Echevarria and Samson are lying about some degree of it. He doesn't say specifically what they believe, but he actually, no, here it is. He actually seems to believe that Golgoroth is also not the real god behind all this. So SS seems to believe there's someone else entirely.
But we have some place in Yucatan now, Merida, and we have a name. This is Francisco de
Dominguez, I believe.
Dominguez. See, what is it? Francisco Dominguez. We have a name. He sent this, and he was in Francisco de la Vega.
And Dominguez, I think, was also the name on the postcard that you found in the post office.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to think. Also, there's another name, Savitri. That I'm trying to think. Would Adrian know what area that name is from?
I don't think necessarily offhand. It's certainly the kind of thing you could maybe visit a library and do a little bit of research on.
So let's relocate away from here.
Okay.
Still in Mexico City.
Okay.
We don't want to be casually bumping into people on the sidewalk. And we've got some figuring. We need to figure out what the hell we're going to do here, because this doesn't seem to be about drugs. They've got this whole. They've got some wacky religious stuff going on here, and I don't know. It makes no sense to me, but we've seen stuff too. I would like to be convinced it's hogwash. I don't know if I inherently believe that anymore.
It's Alice saw the mouth.
Yeah.
So Alice is like, Brooks has gone to Merida. They've gone to whatever they found. And I think the question is, do we go after them?
And we think
There
go ahead,
was.
Doc.
You can tell just by the way he's in pure red line mode at this moment. There was a note from a long while back in Savannah. It said, "Black equals Echevarria, town car equals Buckwald." And Golgoroth is called the Harbinger of the Liar. What if Echevarria thought he was ascending and was going to return?
Well, I thought Father Bianchi was a bit crazy, but this goes way beyond that.
Yeah, this is, and to bring it back to where we started, we think Winston was trying to stop all of this.
Yeah.
And
they temporarily stopped this because whatever happened at that farm
in California,
where nearly everybody got killed. They did some kind of ritual, something, and they're trying to do something similar. But it's in any case, it's clear that Brooks and Trammell have broken.
And SS, apparently.
Mm.
Yeah. And they're both, and Brooks broke up not because he's had a change of heart, or
Right.
he's, he's into this occult stuff, and yeah.
Well, we know somebody who owns land in Meridia that they needed to get through or get access to.
There won't be that many gringos there either. I mean, we'll stick out, but Brooks must have stuck out as well.
I agree. Do we have anything left to do in Mexico City?
We have meeting the ensemble band.
But I mean, would they really know anything?
Well, I will admit I do have a personal interest in see if we can help this Leticia. So understanding more about who she was before this would be helpful.
I think she's with him though. I think if we're going to try to, I agree, Doc. I'm worried about her too, but I think we need to get to her. And every day that we wait is a day where I am worried. As we're having this discussion, whether it's at the car, back at the hotel, or while we're packing up or moving or whatever, I'm going to hand you the record, Doc, and go, I don't want this.
Perhaps we need to listen to it.
I don't want to listen to it either. You can. Yeah, I'm at my limits a little bit right now.
Is there a safe place that we can listen to this? Because I think that this, whatever's on here, might give us some insight into.
That is a bit of a dangerous game. Whatever information it may get us probably won't be worth it if there's some cost. There might not be a cost, but I'd really rather not risk it.
Well, I'd say just one of us listens.
And I think that one of us need to have earplugs in or something, just and be ready to intervene, such as something may happen.
I think
not saying that it will, but
yeah, and I think the only thing that matters to us is whether that's her singing on this record or not, right?
So where can we listen to this safely?
Is there anything available to us in the hotel, Brian?
I would say there might be a phonograph in the lobby. It's not the kind of thing they have in your rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that we could borrow? Or is that
these things are delicate and fairly expensive, so probably not.
We'll ask the staff, the hotel per we've got a record we just need to listen to. Is it okay if we borrow this for a second?
And the guy behind the desk kind of frowns, says, "You're welcome to listen to it here, it's just not too loud."
That's fine.
Okay.
And I want to turn to the three of you and go, we just listened long enough to know if it's her singing on it. Agreed?
I really don't.
Are we going to be playing this in the lobby?
It's either that or we don't play it at all.
It could risk other people.
Okay. Then I
or
think
we play it in the lobby. How bad can it be? We can tick it off if there's anything weird.
I feel like we need to find out.
Is there a candle around or anything like that?
I'm sure you can find one, yeah.
I'm going to find one and get some wax, melted wax, and plug my ears with it.
Okay.
Is there anybody else in the lobby at the moment?
None of them. I mean, there's the guy at the desk. It's pretty late.
These poor concierges. We're just putting them through it.
Sorry, does this job come with hazard pay?
Yeah. I think Alice is just gonna, put it on and then turn the volume down a bit.
I think Adrian will actually kind of step away and not be listening.
And
Okay.
just
for whatever reason, feeling very tense about that.
So is it just Alice that's listening then?
It's Allison and me.
Okay. All right. You are listening.
But I'm ready to pull that needle off as soon as I hear a voice.
Okay. Well, Craig, I believe you have a file that I sent you a while back that is labeled Side A. So if you were willing to share that with the crowd.
I don't think I'm ready to. Maybe we have to do that at the
Oh,
beginning of the next episode. I wasn't prepped to. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Is it something I can channel through here? Let me see if I can do this. You guys hearing?
Not sure.
I don't know if it's coming through on stream.
It's coming through. All right, so it's coming. Hold on. I might be able to get this. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to punch it through. Hold on.
Okay.
Try it again for me. Play it again.
I don't know how to get this to restart.
All right, so nobody talk. Okay, hold on. We'll play it through.
Okay.
All right. Yes, so the audience can hear that.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I hear that voice,
I'll
pull the needle.
So, I mean, it's weird. It sounds like, I mean, obviously this is not a time period when, musical studios have a lot of effects or things they can do. So there was something weird about the voice the way it was playing through, but it's hard to pick out what it might have been. Definitely a female voice.
Okay.
Oh, well.
So our suspicion was right. They're recording her. And she's doing something weird.
Well, perhaps we listen to it fully at another occasion. I think it's getting late. Do we leave first thing morning to Merida?
Yeah, let's call Janet in the morning or send her a telegram letting her know the update and where we're headed. Yeah, I guess that's where we're headed.
Just for you guys, not that we need to do anything with it now, but I'm also going to share the books that you found at the desk. Also, one of them has a photo tucked in the pages that you find.
Okay, Mayan and Aztec images, Children of the Night, and a photograph. Do we recognize anybody in that photograph?
You do not.
Okay. Dominguez, June. This was a month ago.
Is the aircraft at all similar to the one that our friend flies?
I mean, it's similar. It's definitely not the same model, but it's about the same size, you would guess.
Yeah.
All right. We got a plan.
All right. So so you're getting some rest, and then in the morning you're planning to head out to Merida?
Yep.
Update Janet and heading south.
Okay. What's the
perhaps leave a note for the what was his name? The
Del Toro?
detective? Del Toro?
Oh,
Just
I forgot about him.
Yeah, leave a note that we're heading to Merida, and I'd say update him. Yeah, heading to Merida. Keep us posted.
Yeah, and I think we should tell him too, like, Brooks is involved with some very, very nasty business.
Yeah.
Very, very nasty business.
And I still need to help Mateo get the paper sorted.
Mateo can go.
Mateo didn't keep his promise. I don't know why we're keeping ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you're a better person than we are. Literally the last thing I think Alice and James are thinking about.
I mean, clearly.
Sal could help him get his paper sorted.
Is there anything you wanna do to set that in motion before you leave, Doc, or are we gonna just move on? Another string of broken promises.
Yeah. Adrian's leaving me to at least get the ball rolling. He is making that clear that he's at least setting things up. He is not just leaving this poor guy in the dust.
Okay.
So he's gonna see what he knows what documents are needed. He's gonna list out the information that Mateo needs essentially, and he gives the quickest ways to get past the border, which includes saying you work for the railway,
Mm-hmm.
or saying that you work for I forget what it was. I think railway's the quickest, so we'll kind of like basically just try to figure out, okay, here's the information you need for that. I've got it listed out. Here's where to get the documents, who's who to talk to, things like that.
Okay.
Is flower delivery a thing here in this area?
Sure, you can find somebody who would do that.
I am going to send a bouquet of flowers to his mother.
Okay.
And just say, you're a beautiful soul. Make sure to take care of your son, or somebody else will.
Okay. I'm assuming you get Alice to translate that one for you.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I get all messed up with the conjugal verbs and such.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian,
So,
is this a book a flight situation, book a train situation?
there's not a train out there. You can, there are like daily flights out there. Merida is kind of the capital of the Yucatan area. It's a decent sized city. So you get a flight out there. You can drive, but it's probably about 20 hours of driving on country roads. There are buses that go there.
Let's fly.
A couple options.
So obviously find somewhere to store the car.
Well, it's a rental. I'd say we. Oh,
that's
no,
right, it's a rental.
it's ours.
Yeah,
it's
you
ours.
could just. No, you bought this in
Yep,
Las
it's
Vegas.
ours.
Yeah, so I think let's store it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's fly.
All right.
Is there any sort of customs in country where they're checking bags and things like that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Forgot that.
probably not at this point. I mean, you're going between different states in Mexico, but it's kind of like crossing a state border in the U.S. No one particularly cares. And in the airplane situation, as long as you're not carrying anything obviously dangerous, you're probably fine.
Doc.
Yeah, no.
So I just forgot one thing. While looking for the papers, probably in the library, if he has the time, Adrian's going to be trying to look through cultural references to see if he can find anything similar to the name Savitri. Like what kind of like
sure,
pronunciation that would be.
And I know you've got some library use going on. Yeah, so you do a little research, and it looks like it's individually a Sanskrit name. That has now moved into a lot of a lot of Hindu tradition. So maybe India or Pakistan or somewhere around there would be your guess as to where that name is most likely where it came from.
Any hints of like origin, or just like it's a common name?
It was the name of the daughter of one of the Hindu sun gods. It's actually not an uncommon name in the mythology, and it supposedly means like of the sun.
Oh, well, that fits. Understood. Thank you.
Sure. All right. So it sounds like folks are packing up to get on a plane.
Si, senor.
Yeah.
All right. So then on Thursday, the 11th, you make your way out to scenic Merida. It is you land in a pretty busy multi-purpose airport. And as you're going over this, you're kind of flying across the Gulf of Mexico for part of this, because this, is that kind of U-shaped bend in Mexico, and you're kind of cutting across that. It is a pretty busy airport for a town of this size. You're flying over a lot of a lot of jungle, frankly, once you get back over to land. And it is extremely hot and humid. It gives you very much that jungle vibe. This is very much, you can see that it's kind of a colonial Spanish city built on top of an old, Mayan city. So, you can still see traces of old Mayan ruins among things, but they've mostly been, pulled down and replaced with more modern buildings. So it looks like it's a lot of plantation land around here. A lot of places that are growing like rope plants, which are kind of a huge use. It is a very wealthy city for its size. And there are a lot of nice old mansions and that kind of thing. It has a big museum of anthropology. There's a lot of stuff here related to different Mayan ruins around the area. The two big ones that are known of around here are called Uxmal and Chichen Itza, which are both very popular among tourists and, anthropology types and that sort of thing. And sort of right outside the city in the fields, it kind of switches to jungle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this is kind of plunked in the middle of nowhere. So what do you want to do? I mean, I'm guessing you might want to start by getting a hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Sounds
wondering
like
whether
new clothes.
Yes.
New clothes.
That's fair.
Do we tap into academia? Find somebody at a college or a university somewhere or a school and say, hey, here's we're trying to find something, trying to find a place, and here's what we have. And maybe a local that would be familiar to be able to point us.
If we can perhaps see if this Francisco de la Vega is well known, or
Right.
is that
Also, stay on the lookout for anybody that looks like the people in the picture, in the photograph we found.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right. So it sounds like this is mostly going to be like a little kind of streetwise walking around, talking to people, seeing what we can learn.
Yep.
Yeah, perhaps check the newspaper. That type of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah. So what I would say is that you do a little bit of digging around. There is there's archaeological expeditions are not uncommon in this area because of the big ruins and that kind of thing. And but you can kind of go to like the supply shops that people would go to and that sort of thing. And you eventually learn that there was a group of about 10 people from Mexico City going into the jungle. They hired a bunch of local porters and that kind of thing. And one of the shopkeepers are like, well, I was trying to help them get supplies, so I asked where they were going, and they just said, we're archaeologists and we're looking for ruins. And I asked them what ruins they were looking for, and then they changed the subject. So they didn't sound like they wanted to talk about where they were going.
Do you know where they would have gotten the guides from? Asking the shopkeeper.
There are a number of guides in the area, and there's actually a cafe that a number of them tend to hang out when they're not traveling. I think no, that's probably your best bet would be to head out there and talk to them too.
Does the name Francisco de la Vega ring any bells?
Oh, Senor de Vega, yes, he is a landowner on the south side of town. He has a large estate down there, and he is very interested in local anthropology and the Mayan heritage and that sort of thing.
Does he come into town often?
Not very often. I think he usually has people for that. I believe he mostly stays on his estate.
Is there a mountain that happens to adjoin his land?
I wouldn't say mountains, really. There are some high hills in the area, but nothing particularly striking.
All right, so once it's just the four of us,
Mm-hmm.
Cafe, talk to the guides, see if we can't get a sense of maybe where they went. I also don't think the four of us want to go wandering into the jungle without help.
Well, these are the guides who didn't get hired. The other ones did.
Right.
So, but well, perhaps they have some information, and then perhaps see if we can get an appointment with Senor de la Vega.
I'm good with that. Sal, Doc?
You said cafe, I'm all in.
Fair enough. All right, so you guys go out into this place, and it is a little. It has like a vibe of the sort of adventurers club look, where you have a lot of old stone knickknacks and broken artifacts and bits of pottery on the walls that look like they've been recovered at one place or another. Obviously, not something really valuable, or they wouldn't be at this bar. But and it looks like it's a fairly popular hangout for a number of locals. So you come in probably in the early evening, and just kind of asking about guides. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do we specifically ask? Does anybody know the guides who left with the recent group from Mexico City?
Find anybody that talked to them or is friends with one of the guides that went. But it's definitely want to focus things on those 10.
Yeah. So yeah, you find a couple guys who are familiar with the area and the comings and goings and that sort of thing, and the guy there's actually an American there by the name of he calls himself Rick, and he will tell you, yeah, they went with there was a guy locally named Jacinto Esposito. He's pretty well known and well liked guide in the area. Apparently, they paid him a pretty penny too. He said they were headed south of the city, out past De La Vega's lands, and they said they had an inkling that there were some old ruins there that hadn't really been unearthed yet. I think. Yeah, I think De La Vega actually put them in touch with Jacinto, because he's very interested in people making travels in the area, although he's picky about people traveling on his land, so they probably had to make some kind of arrangement with him.
How long ago was this?
Would have been maybe week, 10 days.
And is it strange that, I mean, they haven't been back since? Is that normal, or?
I mean, there's a lot of dangerous things that can happen out there, but I mean, they seemed like they were prepared for a bit. I mean, it would take them a few days to get to the site, and presumably they were doing some exploring and excavation. So I don't know how long they were planning to spend there, but I wouldn't be worried about them at this point.
If we can get passage on his land, is there somebody here we could hire to take us?
I mean,
same area.
I certainly know the area pretty well, so I can help you out. I'm sure there's a couple other guys who might, who might be interested in the party, but I'd be happy to help you out.
This is Rick still, right? That we're talking.
Yes.
Do you think you'd be able to help us find them?
Right.
Well, I mean, without any particular idea of where they're going, it's a lot of ground to cover. I mean, we might be able to find signs of their passage, but it's certainly worth a look. I mean, they might have, maybe they gave Francisco more information about where they were headed, but without knowing where they were going and what they were trying to find, it's hard to say, exactly where they might be.
How hard would it be for us to get access to passage on that land? How hard is it to get a meeting with him?
I think he's usually happy to meet with people. It's going to be the kind of thing where he's probably, I think if you suck up to him, you'll probably be all right. He doesn't want anybody to mess with his land, and he doesn't want anybody to cause any trouble, but he's a friendly enough guy if you butter him up, is the impression I get.
And Rick, let's say we hire you. We get passage. You help us find our friends that left about a week ago. Would you have anybody that could come with us that would not only help guide us, but would also be able to handle themselves, if you know what I mean?
I mean, he sort of looks at you and he says, "Well, I mean, I feel like I can handle myself. I mean, what are you looking for? Porters? You're looking for, you know?"
My concern is if our friends, there was 10 of them, if our friends are in danger and we fear that they are, and if they're in enough danger that it took out 10 of them or endangered 10 of them, I don't want just the 5 of us going in there. I would like to have some more
Muscle.
yeah.
So here's the thing. I mean, there are still bandits out in that area from the last war. And mostly it's wild animals aren't really a problem. This is not the kind of jungle that you get tigers or any of that in. I mean, you'll see jaguars occasionally, but they usually won't mess with a large group. If it's bandits, I mean, I don't know how I would feel about hiring a bunch of guys just on the off chance that there might be bandits or something out there.
Okay.
We can certainly find some people, but it's probably not going to be cheap. And so your main objective is to find these people and see if they're okay.
Make sure they're okay. Yeah.
I mean, not to put too fine a point on it. Do you have any reason to think they're not? I mean, it's not like they've been gone that long.
No, I know, but they're friends of ours. They left with incomplete information.
Okay.
And we have gotten some more information, and I can't get into details, and I apologize for that, but we need to get this information to them. And I fear that time is of the essence. They could be potentially going to the wrong place. They could these ruins can be very, very dangerous. And it's critical that within the next day or so. How long would it take for us to get out to where they might be?
Maybe 2-3 days. So I'm going to ask you something, and if you don't want to tell me, that's fine. But do you think these friends of yours were headed to Chichen Itzá?
Does that name ring a bell to us?
I don't believe it does.
They might be.
Yeah.
If we're not familiar with the name you're mentioning, but
they're probably looking for ziggurats or something that goes underground.
Yeah, I mean, it's a covered up site that nobody's really done much exploration on. It's certainly possible that they're deciding to come out there. I mean, it's a place I've always been kind of curious about. It was first discovered in like the 1840s, and there was an archaeologist who wrote a book about what the place was, but he died before he actually told anybody where it was. I have a pretty good idea of where it is. I've never been out there myself, but that as far as stuff in that area, that's all I can think of that it might be. It's possible that they've got a lead on something we don't know about, but anyway,
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Also, Rick, just curious, how long have you been in the area?
8 years.
What brought you here?
Well, I mean, I graduated with a degree in anthropology, which isn't the most useful thing. And honestly, I'm just...
I have a degree in psychoanalysis.
Yeah, but people will pay money for that. Crazy people, but I'm kidding, of course. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want to see stuff that people haven't seen before. I want to find a new place and write the book on it,
Have you been to any other dig sites, or are you mainly focusing on Central America?
No, I've been down here. I mean, I can get along in the Mayan language. I just came back from blah 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 Uxmal. Getting some photography done there and that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm pretty well suited to get you through the area. You have a pretty strong assess honesty there, Doc. I would say the impression you get from this guy is he's probably exaggerating his abilities a little bit. But you think he's pretty sincere about, knowing the area and knowing the language and that kind of thing.
could I ask you then, what do you know about local folklore?
I mean, a fair bit. I mean, it's a broad topic. Was there anything particular you want to know about?
There was something connected to one of the potential archaeological sites, a folktale about something called the Children of the Night.
Children of the Night. Yeah, there's hold on a second. I know I've heard that referenced. I think if I remember correctly, it's a sort of thing where there are, it's kind of your classic goblin story. There are things that live in tunnels under the ground, and if there are, misbehaving children or people that wander out alone at night, they get grabbed and dragged away by the children of the night. It's a fairly generic myth kind of thing you'll find in a lot of places, but
Doc, can I borrow you for a second?
Just 1 second.
Sure.
I know that Sal identified some of the symbols as Mesoamerican. Is it worth seeing if Rick has any recognition of those?
I thought he identified them as Eastern European.
But I thought we also found some.
So the markings on the bird coops were European,
right?
But the glyphs that were written above the altar thing definitely look Central.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a good shot.
Feel we could trust Rick and show him these?
I think he's very eager to prove himself as a well-read anthropologist. So okay. I don't think he's hiding anything besides maybe a bit more of a lack of expertise than he lets on, but he should be all right.
I'll leave it up to you, Doc.
All right, then we'll go back to Rick. All right, so another reason we were a bit concerned is that one of the motivations behind this seemed to be occult, or at least, there was some occult history behind it, and we didn't know if they were getting themselves into a mess they shouldn't be getting themselves into, messing with, areas that aren't really meant to be stepped into or things like that.
So you're talking about like an old cult or something that's still currently active?
We think it's old, but it's a thing of, we don't know if there's secret society or anything that could still be active in the area that they are messing with. We don't really know. They didn't give us much. But they had these runes, I think, these symbols. Do these mean anything to you?
He takes a look and says, "Yeah, those are Mayan." It's hard to be exactly sure without context, but like this is mountain, this is mouth, this is I think earthquake and moon. It's not like a sentence or anything. It's just like a bunch of words. Like it's from someone who didn't really understand the language, just kind of knew the symbols.
That's fair. So at worst, it would probably be someone who's, not well versed in the culture, trying to, I don't know, mess with it a bit. So probably nothing big.
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
All right. That's fair. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure. We don't know what they're getting themselves into at this point, honestly.
Yep, absolutely.
You're muted, Craig.
Still can't hear you.
Uh-oh. We've broken Greg. Nope. Please hold while we resolve this issue. Your call is important to us.
This outbreak is brought to you by Los Discos.
All right. So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I think that it's very nice meeting you, Rick. I think it would be really good if you could assist us, help us going after the other group. But perhaps I think then we'll have to meet with Senor Francisco de la Vega first. See whether he can update us on where they went to and whether we can also get his permission to cross his land.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
You guys can hear me now?
Yes. Yep. Hooray.
I forgot what I was going to ask. Oh, I was going to ask Rick. I how long would it take to get the equipment, secure the equipment we need, and how soon could we leave?
I could probably handle most of that tomorrow. We could leave the day after.
Yep. Sounds good.
How much?
He quotes you a price that is, manageable with your credit ratings. It's, you get the impression he's maybe cutting it a little cheap because he sounds like he's genuinely interested in this place.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a reasonable price that you guys can probably pony up for now. Although you'll want to get some money from Janet.
Yeah, and Rick, just so you know, we have no interest in documenting this. We have no interest, like whatever we find is yours. So these would be your discoveries. Our concern is the safety of our friends.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do it, and I'm not saying I won't. I mean, you'll certainly be listed in the book, but
thank you.
Sure.
So where do we meet you?
Like I said, yeah, give me tomorrow to get the gear together, and then there's a plaza down on the south side of town that gives you directions to it, which is usually where a lot of the expeditions set out from. So it's just the five of us.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll travel light then.
Is there a good outfitter in this area? Because these clothes and these shoes.
No, you don't want to be in the jungle in those. Yeah, and he sort of directs you to a shop. He's like the owner doesn't speak any English, but she's if you've got some Spanish, it'll be fine. She drives a hard bargain, but she knows what she's doing and she won't rip you off.
Thank you much.
Sure, absolutely. So that seems to be taken care of. And I feel like, given the time frame we're at, this might be a good place to tag it out for the day. So let's go to credits and talk about wrapping things up.
We'll be right back.
In a mansion grand where secrets lie, Walter Winston lived, but he had to die. His daughter Janet, fierce and bold, hired a team to find the stories untold. Oh, Walter Winston, Mr. Mystery Man, caught in a web of a sinister plan, with cults and crimes and shadows so dark. His story ignites like a match to a spark. Ex-cop, doc, gangster, nurse in the mix, unraveling truths in a dance of tricks. Swinging through secrets, meet the moon's gleam. They chase the spurs of a deadly dream.
We are back.
Craig is entirely too proud of his theme music now. Unbelievable.
I am not to be trusted.
It's true. Yeah, so this was at least, obviously we're making progress again. I know there were bits where you guys felt a little bit stalled out, but you've certainly gotten...
I didn't feel stalled out.
Okay, good.
No, I think we're, again, can keep pushing forward.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so Craig, why don't you tell me about some stars and wishes for the day?
I think we covered a lot in this episode. I think this is one of the more productive episodes we've had. Again, I feel like the pace on revealing things has been good. I feel like it's our actions that's leading to the progress, which is a very fine line as a GM in these type of games, right? You don't want to give things to the players that they don't deserve, but you also don't want to hold back. And so again, you're doing a great job there, Brian.
Thank you.
So stars, I enjoyed the old lady and all the interactions with the old lady. I just enjoyed that. That has nothing to do with horror or anything, but it was very, very just genuine.
That's what you think. You're going to find out she's been feeding that dog human flesh.
That's fine, which is fine. The other stars is I did not see the flesh-eating birds. That was something. That was something that I did not see coming. Wishes, kind of digging the idea of a change of scenery. We've been doing a lot of city stuff. Trudging through the jungle is another classic trope of this type of a game, and makes it feel even more globetrotty, which is exciting. So I'm wishing for a very interesting day or two in the jungle.
Sounds good. I'm going to point out, just as a purely neutral basis, you guys collectively among the 4 players have exactly 1 point of outdoorsman, so this is going to be a fun trip.
Oh, I can't. That's God bless Rick.
For sure. All right, Chris, how about you? What do you have for stars and wishes?
My stars has to be the interaction with Mrs. G. I had to stop my camera several times and mute myself because I was literally crying with just laughter here. So kudos on that. That was so incredibly well done. Wishes. I think and Craig had mentioned this before. I think the pace is good.
Yep.
I liked how there was almost this tangible sense of foreboding as we went to the top of the penthouse, and then it was just like, okay, there's nothing there, and then all of a sudden,
oh wait, there is.
Exactly. So I enjoyed that quite well, and I'd like some more of that.
All right, well, I'll see what I can do. Naomi, how about you?
I think my star was perhaps Alice and Adrian standing in front of the door on the end, like, okay, we're here, and then what do we do now? Shit, it's just the 2 of us.
We haven't thought this through.
We haven't thought, we got in, but we can't, we need to get out again, and we can't get them in, and it's like, okay, yeah, well, and I think Alice was, she doesn't want to get, she wants to avoid a Mexican jail, and she's, it's one thing
you
to
say
be looking
that so
up
many
at some
times.
kind of,
I worry that Alice has actually been in a Mexican jail and is trying to avoid a repeat.
perhaps, who knows? But it's one thing to be, looking up at some Russian thug while Sal and James are there, but another one to be like, okay, just the 2 of us going to try and break in here. So, damn it, we didn't think this through. So
Adrian was more than ready to face him on his own. You were free to go downstairs. He was ready to just be like, all right.
So
I'm going to redo my star. My star was the moment, and this is just a perfect in-character moment, when we heard Alice go, "We are not knocking on that door."
So it's
because Adrian was thinking it.
Yeah, I just really enjoy, and I think that's it captures very well, is that this is not a seasoned group of investigators and PI. Well, James is perhaps the most of us, and Sal's, but we're enthusiastically getting into this, and then every now and then, like, oh my god,
we're in over our heads.
What do we do now? How did I get here? Is this a smart idea, actually? So, and I think that's turns into my wish as well, is that we're heading to do exactly the same, that with, as you pointed out, 1 point of outdoorsman between us. I'm not quite sure who has
I think it's you.
Yeah, okay. We're going to head into the jungle with, well, fortunately we found another American who seems honest. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to I think, as Craig said, a change of scenery and a change of interaction. So yeah.
Very cool. All right, and Mac, what about you?
I think my star kind of coincides with Naomi's a bit, was just how many layers of planning we went through about how we were going to get up there, just going through all the possibilities of it, considering the odds, considering it, and then we just kind of decided, why don't we just wait and then knock out the guy who hasn't seen us before? Because and it was done to the point that I could have seen that potentially going for, like, it felt frustrating, like, oh, the planning was nothing, but it just felt so in character that we were just like,
for sure,
we had these great plans and we're just like, they were for nothing. Let's just, all right, chloroform, let's go. Like, it's really interesting how Brian, how you can make uselessness feel useful.
Yeah.
Us
Thanks,
being
I
complete.
Yeah.
You made our incompetence feel entertaining in a way that wasn't like, oh, we messed up. It was,
Yeah.
oh, we're in character, and we figured
Yeah.
out we need to kind of get a move on.
These
Yeah,
these are
it's-
4 very fully realized characters, and I love the interactions between you guys every time.
It's exactly. It's not the players trying to figure out how to do it. It's the characters trying to figure out how to do it.
Mhm.
So just giving us that time to kind of go through it, and then kind of knowing when to say, all right, if y'all are happy with this, we'll keep going. But also, do you want to like move on to the plan, like guiding us in a way that didn't feel like you were telling us what to do, but also kind of just like nudging us where we needed to be nudged.
Right.
Yep.
I've run a lot of Shadowrun back in the day, and Shadowrun is a game that really gets you for hours and hours of planning, which is
Yes.
and then since I've discovered Blades in the Dark, my patience with that and gotten thinner. So I never want to stop you guys from doing something you enjoy, but I also wanted to make sure we're not kind of going back to the cycle.
Entirely, yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, Mac, did you have a wish?
I think for wishes, I had one, but I lost it. Let me try and remember it real quick.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I really can't remember what it was. Oh right, it was we're on the fringe of so many potential like eureka moments that my note pages are indecipherable at this point. I need the feeling of vindication for Adrian, not even me, just for Adrian. Whenever he finally sees all these dots connecting, because he needs it at this point. He is just constantly running on full boil at all times.
I love it. Yeah, so from my perspective, I mean, I love Mrs. Gutierrez, but I think the star for me really does have to be the moment with Alice and Adrian standing outside the door, and it's like, all right, we've got here. Now what are we gonna do? I guess we'll leave.
Phenomenal.
It was beautiful and fit perfectly in character. And then as far as a wish goes, I think just because we've seen so much of these people that are all doing their best, even though they don't all necessarily have the right skills for this, I really am looking forward to, down the road, once you guys have gone through this and survived horrific things, kind of looking back at these characters and seeing how different things are going to be.
Yeah. The arcs are very interesting, aren't they?
Yep, for sure. So it looks like we've got about a month off before our next session.
Yeah,
but
we do.
that'll give me time to prepare Yucatan for you. And
subscribe the whole thing there.
I'll do the stuff.
Keep track of when we're going to be back. A couple things upcoming. We're very close to wrapping up both public access as well as Brindlewood Bay. If you like investigative mysteries, those are 2 phenomenal runs that get into that. And if you are like me and you can't get enough of Brian, you can't get enough of Naomi, we are soon in June going to be premiering Shiver Gothic. It is going to be in the classic mold of the old Hammer Gothic movies. There's going to be a mansion. There's going to be mystery. There's going to be horror, and I'm really looking forward to that.
So excited.
Take care, all.
Is there going to be creepy
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Is there going to be creepy lightning and thunder? This is
Oh,
cinematic
God,
thunder.
obviously.
Oh, perfect. Of course. Need to make sure.
From
Just need
the
to make sure.
start.
Good.
I love it.
Cheers, all.
All right, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.